definitely off to a strong start.
Kaipi with the Bounty Hunter Lifestealer opener here. Lifestealer obviously one of these strength cores. It's kind of where the meta is kind of centered around these days, just with the strength of the armlet and the Echo Saber kind of coming into play. Um, and yeah, you can do these kind of shenanigans with the Invis Infest later down the line. They're still probably gonna pick up a puck or some other mobility hero that'll build a Blink Dagger to give them that Infest Bomb ability. On the flip side, they have got some heroes that are not always easy to burst down. Obviously, the Doom, whether out of the 4 position or the 3 position, rather tanky as the game goes on. Lone Druids can turn into that as well if you can keep the bear in front of him to help him out.
Radiant team ban.
Yeah, it's definitely true, but Lifestealer gens to thrive on those heroes more than most, so if they're able to get on and connect, the Lifestealer should be able to melt both the heroes so far. Obviously, Doom's a bit of an X factor, but
10
generally
seconds remaining.
when Lifestealers, at least on the initiating side of things, he's
5
being brought
seconds
into the fight
remaining.
via another hero, and Doom doesn't really have the chance to doom him pre-rage.
Reserve
Maybe
time.
he gets 1 or 2 of his items off as well, depending what he goes for. So, not the best Doom target in practice. Good in theory, but I think the bigger problem will be, if they do get a vehicle, Puck and Quap are both probably the strongest ones. Doom really destroys
Dire
those
team
heroes.
pick.
And Lone Druid also punishes, especially Quap, quite hard when she overcommits.
Yep.
So maybe they don't
Radiant
even go for a
team pick.
vehicle that is so squishy and they go for something more frontline-ish, maybe DK, to couple with the fact they have really strong frontline with the Lifestealer.
Could you go back to something like an Axe here or
10
Timbersaw for the
seconds
offlane? I mean,
remaining.
those are also highly mobile heroes. The Axe when he gets a Blink Dagger
5
eventually, but Timbersaw
seconds
inherently.
remaining.
And that's also heroes that we've seen picked up every once in a while recently.
Reserve time.
I don't think Timber's a good option into Doom, unless you meant for FlipSide.
Uh, yeah, for both really. I mean,
Uh,
yeah, handling a Doom is like different ways to do it. Obviously, Timbersaw, yeah, he gets shut down by that in particular, but sometimes when you just pick up so many heroes that are good targets for the Doom, you can still kind of overwhelm them despite it coming out at some point in a team fight. But probably don't want to
yeah,
open yourself up to that if you can help it.
yeah, I agree with the idea, but in practice it just doesn't work out as well as you'd think because Timber's such a easy hero to lock down with Doom. It just feels like you're literally playing 5v4 when you get Doom on that hero, whereas most of the heroes have a way of playing around it or they initiate and get at least
Dire
1 or 2
team pick.
spells off. Most of the time, Timber just walks into a fight and then you click Doom on him, job done.
Yeah,
Linken's and Lotus Orb.
he wants to do with their lineup right now. I mean, with the Bane
Reserve
especially,
time.
it makes a Timbersaw mid even more annoying to deal with if the Bane decides to spend a couple of minutes there. Or even the Bounty Hunter, both of these heroes, uh, very good at stabilizing lanes and putting on pressure on the enemies.
Radiant team pick.
Gonna take out the puck, so they do expect the Timbersaw to be in the off lane.
Which is a pretty reasonable assumption because Bane and Bounty are both
Time.
bounty roaming on Quap. Other than that, there's very little ways of pressuring her. Sure, you can harass, but capitalizing on it's a different thing.
Yeah.
And for flip side, I think that they'd just be happy with any offlaner that provides some kind of initiation.
10
Relying on
seconds
Lion
remaining.
can sometimes just be a bit risky. If he doesn't get off
Yep.
to a good game, or if you
5
fall behind in
seconds
the laning
remaining.
stage, he just doesn't have the room to farm a blink.
Still Darkseer, Titan
Mirana.
available, but gonna go back for the Mirana and the Ember Spirit
Dire
immediately
team
picked
pick.
up, so Kaipi not wasting any more time. So, what do you make of this Mirana here? This is an okay amount of setup for the arrow. But
Uh,
it's gonna be core Mirana, one position Mirana with Lone Dude offlane. Almost looks like it, doesn't it?
yeah, that as far as I know, the Lone Druid player is Shachlo, so it makes sense. What this gives them as well is a really strong way of dealing with Timber in the lane, because normally, at least until he gets level 3, I think, or he's got the reaction restacks beforehand, you can actually deal with him quite comfortably with like Hex into arrow. Whereas before, Lone Druid doesn't really have kill potential. He has harass potential, but Timbersaw really doesn't care about getting harassed.
Oh yeah.
And this gives them a tricore as well, which I feel like they were slightly lacking as the game went on if they went for an initiator. But PodM can still play that role as when the game opens up around the 15-minute mark, she can play very aggressively with her first set of items and make a lot of space for the Lone Druid to maybe catch up if he's having a bad lane, or just further create space to amplify his Radiance timing.
Just gonna quickly change some settings here.
And for Kaipi's side, I think I prefer their draft overall because it just feels like there's no ginormous teamfight ults they need to rely on. They can just constantly take skirmishes with Bounty. They've got multiple vehicles for Lifestealer to go with to set up many kills. Like most games, it's very scripted when Lifestealer goes off the map because you don't see the Quap or the Park. This game, there's effectively 3 vehicles that are all perfectly viable.
Timbersaw just
The only thing
chaining
they're
in.
really lacking is like silence to deal with Quap, and you could. I can't remember who it was that did it in the major, but Orchid Lifestealer is a possibility, I suppose. It's definitely
Yeah.
not bad this game if you just get it after Armlet.
Could probably even get it on the Bounty Hunter if you manage to find a farm, if you manage to find some track kills on your build, but that would take away from.
That's much later.
Yeah, much later, because you generally still want to build something like a mechanism. Mechanism 4 stuff, perhaps. But yeah.
Regardless of what it is, the first item on Bounty is normally a form of sustains and a way of helping your team further cement their advantage in team fights.
Alright, and everyone's ready, everyone's loaded in. The game starts, and perfect opportunity for me to welcome you guys if you're just tuning in. My name is DragonDrop, I'm joined by PQMZ, and this is FlipSid versus Kaipi in a WellPlay Invitational by VitalBet. This is an upper bracket matchup, so the loser of this particular series will not drop out of the tournament, but they have to play another series right after this one up against Pro Dota in the lower brackets. So if you win here, your day is done, and you can go to sleep or something, or grab some dinner. I don't know what they do. Or play more Dota. Yeah, it's probably the most likely scenario here. But yeah, before the action starts, let's take a quick look at lineup. Starting with FlipSid here on the Radiant side, we've got MeTTpuM on the Queen of Pain, actually running into Bamboe, scouts him out invis. All he has for help is Timbersaw, so I don't know that they're gonna be aggressive. So, especially with the rest of FlipSid around here. vanskor on the Doom, MeTTpuM playing the Lion, Sedoy on that Mirana. That leaves the offlane in the hands of Shachlo's Lone Druid.
And for Kaipi's side, we've got Bamboe, who's transitioned to the bounty role, with Zai being the addition, playing the offlane Timbersaw, ComeWithMe on the Bane, Sing on one of his signature heroes being the Ember, and Bone7 playing the Lifestealer.
It looks like fairly standard lanes here. After all, Bamboe's just keeping tabs on his bottom lane. Maybe trying to snag the rune. Just be careful as there is a sentry available online. Doesn't choose suspended right now, so he'll have it back for the lane. Keep an eye on his bounty hunter. Gave one of the sentries to TameMyWild as well, secure the mid lane, so fairly standard stuff so far.
This is going to rely on the Doom being around to deal with the second sentry though, because Bounty has 2. The one sentry is not enough to deal with the Bounty in the early stages, and you see he drags a creep wave, so he knows roughly where the sentry is.
It is, but
he doesn't manage to eat it though, so this is a really big deal for FlipSid.
Yep.
They win the sentry wars.
It is. It's actually done by this very. Normally you see the sentry like smacked up in the middle here, or someone close to the high ground, but putting a sentry back here, maybe a little bit unexpected from the bounty hunter, so he couldn't quite get his tango on it immediately.
Yeah, like your mouse would be in this area most of the time,
yep.
Or in the river, so it was good sentry placement. And he's also not missed any CS so fast, so mid lane's going well for the Quap.
Bottom lane Zai is doing his best. Does have 1 point up in his reactive armor. Constant right clicks will just fuel that up. Plus the tango going, sitting at 13 regen.
Yeah, killing this hero without the Doom rotations is probably not happening. And if you're not zoning him out in the first wave, which is practically impossible, it's gonna cause a few problems. They do have some kill potential once they get maybe level 3.
It's a stun. Oh, arrow actually being tanked up by Bamboe. Could have actually turned into a kill with Doom here, just whacking away at him, plus the extra nuke from the Thunderclap, but sexy Bamboe just being there, helping out.
And this is a lot of space created as well. Doom's 8-1 creep, not able to get any levels. They're also dropping sentries. Timber's getting completely free experience.
Yep.
He's even getting the pulls off, so he's able to mess with the lane equilibrium and just make Bottom's life a bit harder, because she's not the easiest hero to CS with unless she's uncontested.
Yep.
You can still get CS, but the likelihood of missing them occasionally is, you know, everyone does it. Whereas Lifestealer, you know, chances of him missing CS is a lot lower.
Especially
The
with
lone
this...
Druid is getting a decent amount.
Oh, arrow actually lands a Bamboe, and under the sentry they're actually be able to right-click him down. And if you can't kill the Timber, just kill the guy that's next to him, trying to help out. I guess it helps, definitely helps out in this lane, especially with the Doom kind of going for this boots build, doesn't have the Iron Talon thing to help him jungle. And with the Halberd Smasher, it's not exactly farming creep either, so can't actually do too much until he finds himself a better creep, other than try to help out Zone Zai, and at the very least, that, as you said, keeps the attention of not just one but both of these supports in here, which creates more space for the middle lane and top lane as well. But that being said, though, Shachlo is also doing quite well, level 3 in terms of experience right now.
Yeah, it's a much easier lane for the lone Druid overall. If they manage to catch him, he is quite killable, but just being able to mess with creep equilibrium is a very strong mechanic for any offlaner. But I do think the side of Kaipi prefer a more static laning stage where things aren't too chaotic for them to deal with. Because once they get their levels online, it's a lot easier for them to make their rotations, and it's going to make their play a lot easier. I feel like
Lane gonna
FlipSid
run.
don't even have options.
vanskor is casually running down Sing Sing a little bit. That plus the dagger coming out with only 1 point into it for now for the Queen of Pain. At least forcing Sing Sing out, but he does have the bottle charters to keep himself going. And gets himself an extra rune, but yeah. So far, so safe.
Thing.
Yeah, pretty much.
Gets a bounty rune.
Yeah, Zai level 4 now. I mean, 2 points up in reactive armor, holding 1 skill point, depending on putting it into the Willing Death now. It's holding on to it for a while. Maybe you need the Timber Chain at some point, but as I said, no real kill potential means you don't need to put points into the escape.
Yeah, it's just more mana efficient as well to get more pressure.
There's 3 heroes around him now. Stun, follow up from everything here, and an arrow plus vanskor now going for the body blocks. It's still not enough. He's just walking himself out of there. Meanwhile, on the other side of the map, the Lone Druid not so lucky. The same kind of 3-man rotation. Or same type of rotation here from Bamboe, plus Bane helping out.
Yeah, and obviously favouring Kaipi quite heavily because Lone Druid's one of those heroes that it's nice when you can put pressure on the lane, but if you're forced to play without your bear for a while, it really, really hurts you. Like 50 seconds, no bear, he can't really go jungle. He's susceptible to dying again in the lane because he's got no scouting tool.
He does have the Saboteur here, but not gonna help you
I mean,
so
it doesn't
much.
matter.
Yeah.
Lifestealer just rages it, and
Yeah.
life is hard.
Same time in terms of CS, look at all the lanes here. Lifestealer at the very top here compared to Sedoy and Mirana. It's also one of these indicators where Zai's influence down here in the bottom on the Timbersaw has been such a nuisance here. They're trying to bring him down, burst him down with a bit of magical damage here, but now they expect so vulnerable here.
And that will favour Kaipi every day of the week. Bounty getting the solo experience is actually really important on top of getting the goal.
Bounty, they're gonna go pop the ultimate. It's not quite enough to finish him off. cRazy-tamemywild wastes that completely. And just these tiny things starting to add up right now for Kaipi.
That's not tiny at all. That's actually such a huge difference in this game because it's not quite like a Midas, but I'll use a Fury. Every time that ult's up, you want to cash it in and get some kills.
Yep.
Bump your gold up, accelerate your farm. With that not being there, it also making in or playing over aggressive because it's so easy for it to get punished.
And Bamboe's there, just gonna burst him down with a quick combo from Zai, but nice little arrow hits on Bamboe. And might be able to just turn it around. Nothing left to cancel TP, so Zai just says goodbye. Despite his 35 region or whatnot that he got from the maxed out reactive armor now with 20 stacks.
That's just so much insane space. And meanwhile, Bone 7's just accumulated his armlet, he's put some pressure on the tower. I wouldn't be surprised if they try and give this lane up to Bamboe now, or at least use Bamboe as a vehicle for Bone 7 so they can start getting the level 6 up for track.
It's almost minute 10 as well, so you're gonna get your Tomo knowledge to get Bamboe a little bit closer to that.
Yeah, that item helped Bounty so much overall. It just means you can play way more aggressive and you don't have to worry about the experience anywhere near as much as you used to. You're almost guaranteed 6 by 11 minutes now.
Gonna try and go again bottom. Zai, another TP comes in, there's the Hex to start with. Follow-up clap from vanskor, there's a stun, Zai still alive, but now finally TameMyWild even pops the ultimate after Zai was already dead. Bit of a misplay, maybe an action queued up too much, and yeah, once again, I mean, they got the kill, but committing way too much. That's, yeah, once again, that's exactly what you were talking about. 4 heroes to kill off a Timbersaw.
That's a pretty good rotation overall though, because you don't lose too many CS, and if it wasn't for the fact he popped his ult,
can I get him?
That would be a completely worthwhile rotation. Sure, their tier 1 gets lost top, but I don't think they were looking to contest that anyway, because the vision that Kaipi have around the area, and I think FlipSid know about it. So it's just too hard to contest that tower.
No.
So getting the kill at least helps.
Oh yeah. 1-7 looked like he was willing to commit to the bear, he even under tier 2, dropped very, very low, but ultimately not quite close enough. Now the arrow comes through, that will not be raged off. 1-7 not quite seeing that coming, but no follow-up. Especially with the rest of Kaipi kind of being in the general area to help out.
Yeah, why waste your mana, when you know you're not going to die?
Yeah.
Just look how confidently they're playing as well, because they know FlipSid don't have anything. They'll know Doom's not 6, Lion's not 6, Cop ult's down. The only thing they have to play with at this point is a Potom ult. And okay, their cores do a decent amount of magic damage, and if they can manage to get 1 or 2 rounds off in a fight, they'll win it. But this is by no means a 5-on-5 engagement level yet. Kaipi just drawing them around the map, they're out-farming them massively. Because they just feel so comfortable playing aggressive, and it's only going to get worse, I feel like. And it will flip onto FlipSid to have to be the aggressors with their ults.
Well, they get the dust on Bamboe, it should be an easy kill, especially with a follow-up. Story sniping that one off with the arrow. Bit of a freebie, just going in on a hunch. I don't think that Sentry actually spotted him out earlier.
I think it's a fine def in all honesty though, because you scout out exactly where FlipSid is. Your cores were completely uncontested in this time. Like the Timbersaw's basically on a par with the Quap that had a really strong start, minus missing her ults.
Yep.
And obviously Sing Sing and Bone 7 are just a step ahead of that.
What do you think the item build's going to be for this Timbersaw? It's just going to be straight up Bloodstone? He has the makings of it, obviously, with the Soul Ring and the Arcane Boots they can disassemble. But is there anything that you would consider as an intermediary item in this game?
I think straight Bloodstone's fine when you're having this much of a start. I think Soul Ring Arcane's just fairly standard anyway, because you need the ability to farm. And they're just too efficient to not get. And you want a Bloodstone as hero at some point anyway. We've been seeing things like Vanguard from the safe lane and mid Timbers, but unless he wants to go for Blink as a first item because they maybe want him to be the vehicle and not Sing Sing, that's the only deviation I would see personally.
Try and go again. vanskor does have his Doom available now, did not want to spend a Zai. Still quite far enough away. Now he's gonna get some help down here. Maybe wants to bait it out. Bone 7. Not invested in anyone just yet, but with TP in, it's gonna be Bamboe. He's gonna be Invis. Smoke up still on ComeWithMe. And they're gonna find Sedoy if he sticks around. He does have his ultimate available, but I don't know if he's gonna have the time to just fade. The drag comes out as well, so it wouldn't matter. But the leap away, not quite enough here. Bone 7 gets a slow off, and that's an easy kill. Brain Stab actually finishing it off, snagging that away, but it's gonna be track kill on like 3 heroes for the assist. That alone is about 700, 800 gold change in their favor, and they're not even gonna stop. vanskor just runs right into Bone 7. As in the backlines, MeTTpuM gonna be taken down by Sing Sing here. Doom comes out onto Lifestealer. He's lifestealing away with the free scope on a tanky Doom. He has the ultimate from Quap. Only ComeWithMe, not even bring him all that low. And 2 more till tally for no loss whatsoever on the side of Kaipi.
Yeah, this is just falling apart so quickly for them. Like, dooming the Lifestealer there is a complete non-factor. He just munches through you anyway, and then you're just seeing the lack of options they have to deal with Kaipi's aggression at this point. And it's not like they're falling back on better late game or better team fight, even better high ground defense. They're just relying on the Doom and the line getting the rotations off, and then their cores being able to farm it through, which, when that game plan doesn't work, their plan B is pretty shit.
Might get Bamboe in the backlines. Meanwhile, in front, they already lose the Queen of Pain again, so it's an okay trade, especially if they can maybe get vanskor. He's still tracked up. The arrow on Zai, though, might be... Yeah, I don't think he got the memo. He's still staying alive here. They have to commit the Finger of Death to finish him off after that stick charge or whatever that was. Yeah.
And that's a step in the right direction, but you just let yourself get so far behind. And I think it's mostly just based on the fact Zai and Bamboe were putting too much pressure for the Lion or Doom to ever get their levels or get any farm.
Yep. None of them were really able to do what they wanted to do in terms of just stacking up the jungle, pulling the waves, or for Doom just farming up camps idly. Just never had the space because they felt like they needed to try and shut down Zai in the bottom lane, but it didn't quite work out even then, even with the 3 heroes there.
I mean, speaking from a Timbersaw player perspective, I didn't think he'd be able to play that aggressively or get that much done, but that's why he's playing and I'm not. You know, I thought he'd be much less of a problem.
Bamboe, they see him here, does have some help though, but Bone 7 not quite raging up. Sing Sing coming in though with a bit of a bump here, plus the Serum Chains. Bone 7 still munching through 2-for-1 trades so far. Zai coming in front of the back here, MeTTpuM. It's gonna be the 3rd one. Just like that, an explosion, a flurry of kills. They do lose Bounty Hunter again. I think you got at least... I don't even know that they got a drag off. Fight recap didn't show it, but still. 3 more kills in favor of Kaipi. You're just gonna keep snowballing here as well, right? Considering the Lifestealer already has the armlet plus the Echo Saber, 1600 gold in the bank. They had 1800, 1900
everything's just going for them.
Yeah.
Like, the Ember's also going to have Battle Fury and 1000 gold pretty much, which is... Late game securance is in the bag at this point.
Yep.
That's what it feels like, at least. When you're looking at this game from an outside perspective, it's very much on Kaipi to overplay and give away their advantage. And if you're looking at practically and logically in this game, it's going to require FlipSid to be very, very on point with their line and their Doom. Being in the right places, right time. And it's not even that easy for them to just point-click, disable these heroes. Ember's very elusive in cancelling animations. Obviously, Lifestealer doesn't care about half of line stuff when Rage is on.
Yep.
It just gets a lot harder for them to play. And now Timbersaw's got his Bloodstone as well, so if the fight starts snowballing even further in Kaipi's way, it's just going to be harder and harder for them to ever capitalize on any kills they get. Because they're not being able to push towers if Timber's alive. Maybe if he's the only one alive, they'll be able to get something, but he's just such a strong D-pusher, and even if he dies in the fight, then the rest of the heroes get healed up, and you're probably only collecting a Timbersaw.
And then depending on how many Bloodstone charges he gets himself in between that, it might just be coming back within 5 seconds or so. It's kind of ridiculous respawn timers that you get when you start snowballing with that item. Yeah, flip side, I don't know, feel a little bit lost. What can they really do? They're even being scouted out by the scan. on the Radiant side, so
I think they need to start using this bottom ult aggressively one way or another.
it's so hard.
It-
Oh, they might get Bamboe now. He just turns invis and another ultimate. That plus a tick
Deny.
damage. Nice deny here, Bone 7. With the heads up play, so they don't even get that going for themselves. But yeah, I mean, if you want to play with Parliament, this is the time to do it here, when there's no very little track on the field. Donald Doom still has it on him for a little while. Otherwise, it just gets so hard.
The way they need to do it, though, is not easy to pull off at all, because if you look at how Kaipi are playing, lanes are constantly being pushed in. So if ever more than 3 heroes are off the map and 1 lane's getting shoved in, it's very obvious for Kaipi. So you need to somehow recognize where they are in the map and do some wraparound like this after you pushed out a lane. If they get Zai here, that's a really big kill.
Yeah, they commit to Doom, and everything, in fact, to bring him down. He's still taking so much time. Might even be denied? Ah, not quite. His own tankiness kind of working against him there. Sexy Vamp, but they do not quite have enough to bring him down. Now, as a result, he'll give up his own life for the cause as well. Doing all that top lane. Shachlo wasn't even part of that fight. He didn't need to be. He's putting on some pressure up top. He'll find Sing Sing though. But he's found to handle, especially. Well, he's just coming for the tower. Now TPs come in. Savage Roar to keep Sing Sing away. Now TP out. Ah, they cancel it. And they bring down the bear in turn.
Yeah, slight misplay on his end, but a good overall exchange for FlipSid, securing the tower, getting the 2 kills, putting themselves slightly further ahead in gold. You know, that's step 1 of about a 6-7 step list that they need to keep ticking off. And every time their ults are up, they really do have to be playing 20-30 seconds in advance and saying, this is coming up. Kaipi are maybe not expecting us to group up yet and already be there just as your ults are coming off. That's probably their best way of getting kills. And they just have to play like really fast and unexpectedly for Kaipi. Because if they let this game stagnate at all, farm just goes in Kaipi's favor, and late game is definitely in their pocket.
Especially with the Ember Spirit here. He's still behind in terms of net worth. Just second here to his own Lifestealer on the team. That's just because Lifestealer can also farm incredibly fast, but here, with the Battle Fury, he'll be able to chew through creeps and camps a little bit quicker.
And don't get me wrong, it's not the easiest Ember game when you look at it, but with how Kaipi are going to be taking most fights, he's got the 2 frontliners that mean, unless FlipSid have blinks or they're doing some kind of pincer, it's very hard for the spells that they need to land on Ember to get hit. Just because Bone 7 will always be in the front. Zai most likely tanks a Doom because he's just the natural target. He does a lot of damage and he's very immobile right now. He does pick up the blinks, so he's able to get in and out slightly easier.
Even so, do you still consider building up Lincoln Sphere now next on the Ember Spirit, or do you just go straight for the Daedalus? Some sort
I'd
of
probably go Blink and then damage. I don't think when you're this far ahead, especially with an Aegis, you know, obviously you're not farming an entire Lincoln's. Well, maybe you are if you get a lot of kills, but chances are Blink into crit, I think. It just lets you play so aggressively in split as well.
Sing Sing is there, TameMyWild. Scouts out Zai here, showing off his orchid. So the rest of FlipSid here trying to get themselves out, but Zai is keeping track of Shachlo, doing a lot of burst damage. He just busts lonesome, but Sing Sing gonna come in to make absolutely sure that they get the kill, especially with the tracker on Sexy Bamboe. And that extra gold, and they're looking for more here. Lifestealer is still infested into the Bounty Hunter. And if TameMyWild is not careful, he still has Blink here. There's not a whole lot to cancel it, no silence or anything to stop that from coming out.
This is like the saddest lone druid I've seen in a very long time. I don't even think going Radiance was correct at this point, because you got the relic around the 21-minute mark, and
oh man, they actually caught Sing Sing with the Doom, but now a little bit of a turnaround from Zai, creating some chaos here. MeTTpuM, he's gonna have to try and TP out. Not quite sure if it's gonna be enough. Not with that burst. Pure damage from the Timbersaw, pretty damn devastating up against the Lions. Ultimate committed, but Sing Sing, let's just shrug it off.
yeah, and they've got no way of chasing him down, burning the Aegis, because there's still the tier 1 there. So it's actually one of the worst places to be even looking to take a fight, the flip side.
Radiant's bottom tower
And
is under attack.
with that exchange, it's going to be an easy queue for the tier 2. Maybe that's all they get with this Aegis, so unless they
Radiant's bottom
look to
tower
take a
is
really
under
deep
attack.
dive into the base. I think tier 3s are a bit
Radiant's bottom tower has
awkward
fallen.
to siege.
Well, there's no Doom. There's still Moonlight Shadow, there's still Queen Pain Ultimate though, level 2 now.
They do have Deso actually, so their siege is a lot better than I thought it would be.
Oh yeah.
Is under attack.
And
Oh,
if
look
they
at
get the
that.
tracks off the slow siege, then it's very easy for them to get a dive.
Arrow comes in, it's on a creep here. Tracks starting to come out. Stun from Metro onto sexy Bamboe. Bringing him down will prevent any extra tracks, but there's a Fiend's Grip in the backlines here. Sing Sing coming in to provide some extra damage here. They bring the Timbersaw, he gets his ultimate off, but it's too little too late. ComeWithMe just gets himself back up with a brain sap here. They do have the vision for Sedoy on a nightmare. He does sleep himself back to base, but Buyback's only forced out. Need to get some extra kills here. Zai still going strong, despite the Bane going down, and now Bone 7 as well, who's focusing on the buildings though. Probably the wise decision here. Zai more than enough to keep them away. Now being silenced up means that it's actually losing a lot of mana from the chakram, but the damage is still being done. Bone 7 might have to invest into something or just arm the target his way to victory. As they keep taking kill after kill, and the Course and Kaipi just too far ahead and just refuse to die at this stage. Finally, Sing Sing just takes Lifestealer back up top. As they already got the racks here. Zai, well, nice arrow. Gonna have to damage to bring him down here. No doom, if he just turns it around onto Sedoy. And that is just very, very sad.
I think he
indeed.
just kills some if they keep chasing.
He's 70 Bloodstone shards all of a sudden again. Was down to
Oh, he
8 after
didn't
the first kill.
He's fine.
Yeah,
Never mind.
Doom just came with cooldown, so yeah, it's
Uh,
a little bit chancy to keep going there.
And the only reason I said that siege was probably quite awkward is Podum had Ags, and she wasn't there to clear the creep wave before it got to the base. And okay, there is Fiend's Grip to punish you, but if you just Moonlight Shadow in, kill the creep wave, you can waste a lot of their time there. Instead, they let them hit the base, which is something you just can't let them do when they're able to dive into you that easily. You also made it quite easy for them to play onto you, but they really didn't have that many options. With Doom being down, there's just too many sources of damage from Kaipi for them to deal with.
Yep.
And with the lack of damage they have as well, none of those sources of damage are ever going away. They're skirting in and out, rinsing and repeating.
Look at the building damage they have just from Bone 7. Bit of silence is done here, and the arrow onto Zai is actually taking quite a bit of punishment here, and he will be brought down. Now Sing Sing gonna try and pick up the slack here. Fiend's Grip onto vanskor, taking him out of the field. Establishment just a tad bit too late, and that's a Doom down without even having spent his ultimate. 40 more seconds here. Sure toss, bounces through, doing a little bit of extra burst as the tracks keep coming from Bamboe. Yeah, as Timbersaw's already back, his boots of travel, he can actually go to the bottom creep wave. Maybe backstep a little bit. Sedoy is still dropping very low. Zai try to go for the cheeky play, unable to really make it work. But yeah, outside here, TameMyWild, what is he doing there? He's trying to go for a quick pick off. Instead, he just falls himself with another track kill inside the base. Poor little Lion also falls, and just goes from bad to worse here. Nightmare on the Bear means that he can't help anyone. Bone 7, he just goes in deep on Sedoy, and Buyback comes out. I don't know that it'll change how the game is progressing right now. Moonlight Shadow trying to find something. We still have that Doom ultimate, but they don't have the damage to follow it up with.
No, at this point it's just hoping Kaipi make a mistake. Their lead it's not the biggest lead you've ever seen at this stage of the game, but in how it works out, it's by far enough to end the game if they find even one opening they can go. With the buybacks being expended on the Podum, that's pretty much their main deep pushing hero. Unless Quap wants to ult a creep wave, and then they'll just wait 30 seconds and go with the next one.
Yeah.
So if they find the Podum,
Radiant's top tower
nail
is
in the
under
coffin,
attack.
game over. Every other hero doesn't have buyback at the moment. They don't know that though. Okay, sorry, Lone Druid does, but I imagine he'll invest into something because buyback on that hero is generally not that viable if they kill the bear. And they need every little bit of damage they can get at this point, so I wouldn't even be surprised if he goes like Mask of Madness on the bear, even though his bear's going to melt. make sure you don't pop the mask when they're hitting the bear and you pop it when you're hitting them. Obviously, it's
Only it was that easy, yes.
But at this point, it's desperation. They need the most efficient items they can get.
Yeah.
And they also need to make smokes like this latch, but unfortunately they completely misread where Kaipi are. It's not an easy situation because they have the complete side of the map to open up. They can be wherever.
Radiant's top
And
tower
now they should
is
figure
under
they're at the tier 2, so they might take this trade. I don't think it gives them any... like, no one's close to anything, really. It's not like Lion's getting blink off killing this tower, so...
Yeah. Well,
But the worst thing they can do is not be here when Kaipi are killing this tier 2. Like, the bottom already needs to be back, so she can stop all the creep wave and leap away.
Radiant's top
But she isn't
That's
there,
not
so
happening,
Kaipi don't give her the option. And now this
now
is
starting to TP back
correct.
as tier 3 is already down to half health, and 7 rages up to get that extra attack speed. There's a glyph available here if they want to try and make something happen. I'm just gonna give it up instead. Science comes out, Orchid's gonna be wasted, the arrow also, not gonna latch on anything. Zai just TP's back down to the bottom
Yeah,
lane
they
here
wanna
with a passenger,
kill
and they
Shachlo.
will get Shachlo. No, he's just gonna bring down vanskor. Track will mean that the Moonlight Shadow is ineffective. Bring him down, plus Dust and everyone else. Zai actually will be brought down, but only after MeTTpuM and MeTTpuM both commit their ultimates. And now Bone 7 just free roam. There's nothing that can stop his damage from coming out. Sedoy has one more leap available. Sing will miss the same chains. So the Mirana will be home in the fountain, but I don't think they can defend this anymore.
The creep wave was close enough before they killed it when they got in the base, so no backdoor protection.
MeTTpuM struggling to kill the bounty hunter here. Will eventually be able to, but had to spend all the mana. Sing just finishes them off after the fact. Gee, not quite, but there we go. Blinked himself into a corner, quite literally.
Yeah,
Rex
and
not
now
quite dead
Druid
just
wants
yet
to
though.
come out.
Oh god, double chains and Sedoy and vanskor. Alpic from Bounty Hunter even. Looks like Kaipi want to finish this sooner rather than later.
Yeah, they're in a position where there's no ults available for FlipSid that matter. Maybe Quaff has buyback.
Radiant's top barracks
Wait,
has
hold on.
fallen.
Never mind, she used it.
Oh, yeah, it's available
Okay, no.
now. Yeah. Yeah, she has it back now. Okay, they just called GG.
Yeah, I mean, this game's just...
Yeah, it's over.
as soon as Kaipi wants it, it's over. I do wish one thing they do with the spectator UI is make the buyback slight.
The dev timer thing. Did you get that?
We've known each other for so long. Your heart's been aching, but you're too shy to say it. Inside we both know what's been going on. We know the game and we're gonna play it.